You're not dreaming. It's really us. Hello.
Hello.
Beef here.
Drew.
It's After Drill. You know it. You love it.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least you know it.
Mm.
We're here again. It's Monday. It's Victory Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Jaguars a winner yesterday. Chicken dinner.
That's right.
Over the New England Patriots in fairly dominating fashion, Drew.
Yes.
A,
I think you take away...
dare I call it an ass beating.
You take away the Chark fumble, I think they run him out of the stadium.
You take away the Chark funnel, you take away the Bortles pick, it's a whitewash.
Which, by the way, ASJ, come on.
You know, I've seen mixed reviews on that. I've seen people mad about ASJ. I've seen people mad about Blake.
He forced it in there a little bit, but at the end of the day,
it hit the dude in the hands.
It hit ASJ right in the hands.
That's tough. I mean, kind of let's just call it mixed bag, okay?
We'll call it mixed
blame
bag,
to go around for everybody.
considering that Blake
That's
played
not a great
phenomenal.
Play. But all in all, massive credit to Blake Bortles. Massive credit to Nathaniel Hackett for the game plan drawn up. It became clear very early on in that game there was never any intention of Leonard Fournette playing. Leonard Fournette being thought of as maybe a game time decision was obviously a little bit of gamesmanship from the Jaguars. All week it was clear he was not playing because that game plan suggested they had no intention of having Leonard Fournette available. The game plan would have looked a lot different if they thought they were going to have Leonard Fournette. Clearly they did not plan on having Leonard Fournette because that was a very different offensive game plan than you would have seen.
Yeah.
If 2-7 was ready to go, what a game plan it was, man. Never seen Blake Bortles look better, Drew.
Yeah.
Never. It was incredible.
I am not one that will sit here and tell you. It's like, you remember when John Wall went out with the Wizards?
Was that were you talking with your hands or was
there was a little
I couldn't tell. He's an animated talker.
Yeah. So, you remember when John Wall went out with the Wizards and they were like 5-0 and they were blowing teams out and everyone started bet. Are the Wizards better without? And everyone knows they're not better without John Wall. It's like now there's this stat out there that the Jags are 4-0 without Leonard Fournette. They average 31.5 points per game, and everybody has this thought of, well, the Jags are less predictable with Leonard Fournette out of the game. Well, also I think what you would see happen is if, say, you added another 4 games to that, all of a sudden people would have a larger sample size of what the Jags like to do without Leonard Fournette, and then all of a sudden we would be just as predictable without probably your best offensive player.
Correct. You're always better with Leonard Fournette than without him. He's a dynamic player. He's a game-changing type running back, and he's your best with your full complement of running backs because they're all so different. So they give you different types of looks, and you're at your best when all 3 of those guys are getting touches.
The one takeaway, though, that I will agree with that I saw a lot of fans saying, we got to keep Corey Grant involved. The guy is just electric when he gets the ball in his hands and he's in space. I mean, he can make plays happen. He makes things happen. You got to keep him out there.
And he's most electric as a changeup. As a 10 to 15 snap guy who does very different things than the other 2 running backs you have. That's when he's deadly. And
give him 5 to 7 touches a game, though.
He's very good in those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get a little bit more of an opportunity. He was electric Sunday in the big win over New England, and it was great.
And we never stopped using him, which was cool.
Yes, that was the good thing. And that's always been kind of a bugaboo with this team, right? You know, like in the past, you'd feel like you've kind of found something.
Sure.
And then it would just they'd go 20 straight plays where that guy wouldn't show up.
Disappeared in the second half.
You'd have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
And it would drive you nuts. And the game plan that they drew up and stayed with through everything was spectacular. Even after the Bortles turnover, after the touchdown scores, they stayed on it. They put their foot on the gas and they stayed with it. And it's exactly what you had to do. They learned their lesson from the AFC title game. They learned their lesson from what the Eagles did to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They learned what to do, and they kept it doing. Matthew says the Telvin Smith penalty was horse blank. Yes, it was by the letter of the law. It was by the rule, but that rule sucks. Telvin Smith did everything he could to not hit that guy with his helmet.
He didn't even lunge into the guy.
He didn't lunge. He led with his shoulder. He tilted his head. He did everything he could. His helmet happened to graze the guy's face mask, and it was a penalty. It was a garbage call. It was by the letter of the book. So, I mean, I get it. It was the rule as it is written, but man, it's a trash rule.
How funny is it to see Patriots fans on Twitter
moaning
about the refs?
Bro,
you have 3
Dude.
Three penalties called against you in 8 quarters of football against the Jaguars, and you're telling me that the refs
That they got
posed
jumped
you.
by the refs, dude.
Let me tell you a little quick something, by the way, about encroachment, you numbnuts. Somebody's got to touch them. They got to react, okay? All you Patriots fans the ref, he reached for the flag. Yeah, because he would assume that the Patriots weren't stupid enough to just let him get back. He got back on side. No one moved. No one touched him on the 4th and inches on the punt. It's not encroachment, okay? And yeah, you know what? Gronk got held a little bit on one crossing route that you ended up kicking a field goal on anyways.
Bro, I mean, it's rich for Patriots fans to talk about calls that went the wrong way for them after this game. It is absolutely rich. And now we've got, now the spin up in Boston now too is, this was the Jaguars Super Bowl, so of course they showed up and showed out because this was their season. That's rich, guys.
We'll
that's
see.
rich. I believe it was Alfie Crow over at Big Cat Country who tweeted out, that maybe if the Patriots had approached this like it was their Super Bowl, they wouldn't have gotten their asses kicked.
Yeah.
But they did.
I mean, the Jags, we've said it leading all the way, the only thing the Patriots really still have is they have Belichick and they have Brady. But if you compare just rosters alone, the Jaguars roster is far better than the Patriots, and they showed it. That's what happened. That's what happened.
And look, man, I mean, we talked about this, leading up to the game, that Tom Brady's track record in oppressive heat is not good. He's clearly a guy who he's not comfortable playing in really hot temps. He only has one win in his career when it's over 90-something degrees. I don't remember what the cutoff was. It was 92 or 93. Whatever it was. He only has one win in his career in these extreme temps, and it was at Arizona, where the heat is a different type of heat. It's still hot, but it's that dry heat. It's a little different. And any game he's played in high heat in Florida, whether it's Miami or Jacksonville or anywhere else, in high heat, man, he has not done well. He just doesn't like it. And you saw, they showed the video yesterday on the sidelines too, when it was, I think at that point maybe it was when it was 21-3. It might have been 14-3. But Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels were losing their minds on the sideline. They're screaming at dudes.
Frame it. I'll hang it over my bed. It was
beautiful. They were losing it. It was, it was really great. Chris says, go Jags, but hey, Northern Illinois is going down Saturday, LOL. You Knowles can go to hell with that. We're coming for it. We'll take the money you guys are paying us to come down and beat you, and we'll donate it to the
Chris,
Willie Taggart GoFundMe.
here's what'll happen, Chris. We'll get outplayed for 58 minutes, and we'll somehow squeak out a dub in the last second. That is if we can score a point, which we have not seen much of. So really all bets are off. I tell you right now, if you put a gun to my head and said you got to pick the Florida State Northern Illinois game, I really wouldn't feel great about it.
I don't know what the spread is on it, man, but it can't be that wide.
It can't be
based
wide.
on what's happened lately in Florida State.
Because Florida State, like for instance, if you want to go, if I had someone said, "Oh, Florida State's a double-digit favorite," I'd laugh because I'd say, I'm not sure Florida State can even score.
Was the number? Did I read correctly that Florida State so far this season still has not held a lead over an FBS team?
That would be correct.
Wow.
Because we immediately got down to Vautech and we were down to Cuse the entire game. Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, we were getting. We scored with like 2 minutes to go. We were getting shut out.
You're all about Stanford though. You got Stanford.
Yeah.
And you're about to be all about that Maction, boss.
Yeah.
About to get it. It's coming.
We may go 2-10.
Patriots 1-11. Tallahassee.
I mean it's so I've seen a lot of bad Florida State teams because I grew up with bad Florida State teams, but. This is the worst one.
Now, Drew, you're a Florida State guy, so you're the one to ask about this more so than me weigh in on it because I don't have a dog in the fight. But obviously, losing at Syracuse was incredibly disappointing if you're a Florida State fan.
What did they say? First time since like '66 or something. We had won 10 straight against Syracuse.
Where do you stand on these? The people clamoring for Willie's head, looking up at the buyout, launching GoFundMes. I mean, where on the overreaction scale are we right now?
It's ridiculous. You could put Joe Namath behind that offensive line, and we would still lose football games.
The highlight of that whole game, or not the highlight, but the video clip that encapsulated the whole game, was the clip of Francois on the ground after his 800th sack of the game, as his left tackle, I don't know the guy's name, number 75, reached down there to help him up, man, and DeAndre rips his arm away, gets up, and he's barking at him something. because he was so tired of getting crushed.
I'm
Those
just
dudes gave
telling
him
you,
no help.
all these people who are clamoring for Blackman, I'll tell you this. If you want to throw Blackman back there, that's fine. I don't particularly care because it doesn't matter.
It's not going to go any better.
But I just, like, if that will get everyone to shut up and see just it's literally the offensive line, then fine, do it. I mean, Cam Akers has had a terrible start to the year because there's nowhere to go. Francois played horrible, and he had time for some of the throws and he missed some of them. But again, our wide receivers, quite frankly, are no good. The offensive line is all time bad. I mean, coming into the season, the offensive line was a question mark, but you thought it'd be okay. They've now lost like 4 or 5 offensive linemen. They've played up at 12, up to 12 offensive linemen already. They're down to. I'm telling you, it's bad. People said if Florida State lost offensive linemen early in the season, they'd start predicting losses, and I'm telling you right now, they're coming. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. I watched the entire Syracuse game. I almost had to turn it off. I've never turned off a Florida State game. I almost had to turn it off. It was that bad.
It's been a rough start for kind of first-time coaches at the college and pro level, or at least guys in their first years in their current locales. On the NFL side, remember the first-year coaches all went 0 week 1, and it's not much better week 2. Most of the guys still posting a donut. Frank Reich got a win with the Colts, and one of the other first-year coaches got himself a W, but the rest of the guys are all still over up at the NFL ranks. And then in college,
it was Vrabel.
Vrabel got a win, that's right. But Gruden, 0-2 now in his return to Oakland.
Did you see how they blew that game? It was 19-9 last I saw.
It wasn't good. And Derek Carr played out of his mind. Had a fantastic game, but again, this is 2 weeks in a row where Gruden sits there and scratches his head and goes, "I'm not sure why we can't rush the passer right now." John.
Oh boy.
It's real puzzler, John. It's real puzzler. Why can't you rush the passer, John? How are those draft picks, John? I read that they're considering internally firing GM Reggie McKenzie out there and giving John Gruden more power.
Holy hell.
And I love it. I'm extremely here for it. And then on the college side...
Spider 2-eye banana.
Spider 2-eye banana, yeah. And then on the college side, your guy Willie is over. Chip Kelly looks like a disaster out in UCLA after 2 games. It's not going well. So it's interesting. And Dan Mullen, granted, he's got a couple wins with the Florida Gators, but
and again,
that Colorado State team is not any good.
I'll also tell you, any logical Gator fan will tell you if you watched that football game,
it wasn't good.
The offense, the score looks good.
It wasn't great.
But they fumble the punt, fumble the snap, missed 2 field goals all early when the game was tight all of a sudden, and the Gators played really good on special teams. That's what they did.
By the way, if you have a Gator fan friend who says they were at the game, they were either in the extreme minority or they're lying to you. Because there was basically
no one there.
Yeah. So yeah.
You just simply tell them, prove it.
Prove it. Where's the stub? Produce the stubs.
Prove it.
Yeah. So. We enjoy Victory Monday. We celebrate.
Yes.
And then it's time to focus on the Titans, who have their own mess. They won Sunday, but
man, the Titans,
they're a hot mess, dude.
The Titans and the Texans look
bad. They're a hot mess.
They look bad.
The Titans, Marcus Mariota benched, injury, maybe. Blaine Gabbert led them to victory. So we got to focus for Sunday because... I can't have the Jaguars listen to Blaine Gabbert 2 years in a row.
They ran a fake punt pass. Bird, their safety, threw it. It was a huge touchdown, and Bird had the most passing yards in the game for. I don't know if Blaine Gabbert ever overcame him. I assume he did, but I was watching the game late in the third quarter.
I think he did because when I was looking at the box score, Gabbert's name was listed at the top of the passing.
Late in the third though, it was still Bird.
Yeah, the Titans are a hot mess, and they're rolling in Sunday, so we've got to turn the oven back on and keep it rolling, man. 3-0 would be a hot one. The AFC South suddenly looks like hot garbage. Maybe not suddenly, but it definitely looks like hot garbage.
I think the Texans will figure it out somewhat.
And look, man.
I also, by the way, Colin Cowherd, I know you're a big fan of the show. You and Jeff Schwartz, man, I will not forget the segment you guys did preseason, ripping the Jags. I don't know why everybody is so high on the Jags. I love the Giants +3. And then I see Cowherd going on Twitter yesterday talking like, I picked the Jags.
Didn't you have the Titans as a playoff team?
Cowherd picked us to finish 4th in the South. 4th. Coward, we better be in your hierarchy, that little hierarchy he does.
Yeah, well, when the power rankings come out this week, again, the power rankings don't mean anything because we have standings. That's what we have them for.
Yes.
But when the power rankings come out this week, guarantee most, if not all, are going to have the Big Cats number 1. Because everybody else who was in the mix lost Sunday.
Yeah.
Atlanta lost. Pittsburgh lost. Philly lost.
Atlanta won.
I'm sorry, Atlanta won. But yeah,
But it was tight.
New England lost, obviously. It's the only team you can really argue right now, and out of nowhere, man, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And Pat Mahomes looks like the real deal, man.
I'm telling you, that potentially...
Yikes.
I've had a lot of fantasy ups and downs in my day. That might be the greatest late round pick of my history as a fantasy player. I picked him late because I was watching Riddick on a fantasy show one day. I'm giving him the credit because he basically staked his name saying Mahomes would be a superstar. And, man, through 2 games, he is single-handedly winning me football games.
We're 3 weeks away from Jags Chiefs. That's week 5, guys.
That is going to be...
It's going to be balls out, man.
Yeah, that'll
When
be...
do they start flex scheduling? Because I would flex that bastard right into Sunday night if I could.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't think they started flex scheduling at that point.
However, I will tell you as somebody who I'm not
a smart guy.
Now does the Jags post-game scoreboard and
He
fifth
does
quarter, I'm not... I'm fine with keeping it during the day because like we talked about last night.
Night games are a long shift.
I said, "What are we doing for the Steelers game?" He said, "Oh, that'll be 2:30 to 4:30." I was like, "All right."
Yeah, welcome to my room.
Woo!
You'll see me when I come.
People will be rolling in the door.
Hey, Beef's here.
Hey.
High five on the way out.
Let's just do Let's do a pre-drill instead of after drill, Beef.
Pre-drill. We'll do it
Pre-drill.
right early. 4:45 a.m. Hello. Victory. Hopefully it's a victory Tuesday.
Oh
victory
my
Monday.
God! Yeah, the Steelers look like crap too.
Yeah, they didn't look great, and then Pat Mahomes was so good that those two things sort of passed very rapidly in the night. As Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say they look like crap. Big Ben did throw for like.
They just didn't look great, and then the Chiefs looked so.
You
good.
give up a 21 spot, it's like can't do that.
By the way, I feel your pain if you're like not a Jaguar fan and you're watching that game, and then they had to bail on it to go to the Jaguar game on CBS.
Yeah, that sucks.
That was kind of a kick in the nuts.
I mean, I was
no sympathy from Jag fans.
However, I'll be honest with you. I was like, why the hell haven't they put the Jags game on yet?
Dude,
I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, it's 4:25. Dog.
I was getting so nervous. I'm like, let's go.
They kept saying, we gotta switch it. We're sorry.
I don't care what the Steelers do here. I don't care.
And then finally, it was like middle of a drive, and they switched to like a Rick Scott
They flipped
commercial.
like 2 straight political ads, and then they threw the game. I was like, what are we doing? You could have showed me the rest of the Steeler game.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Because as soon as they came in, Jim Nance, it was like 30 more seconds, and the Steeler game had gone final. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
But yeah, that'll do it for us.
Yeah.
We're riding high. Victory Monday, we love it. We're ready for Titans week. Ready to crush the Titans.
Yes.
And hopefully, obviously we didn't even talk about it. The big blow this morning was Cam Robinson done for the year with an ACL. Hopefully Josh Wells is obviously going to slide in there. Hopefully he can keep doing what he did Sunday. Because Sunday we didn't hear his name once. And granted, the Patriots don't have the world's greatest pass rush, so he'll be tested more so moving forward. But hopefully Wells can hold it down. He's going to have to, man. Yeah. He's our guy.
At least you got Norwell next to him instead of Omame.
Right. There's not there's not all pros out on the streets that you can go pick up. I had 3 different people text in this morning asking about Joe Thomas. Guys, do yourself a favor and Google Joe Thomas, okay? Joe Thomas, since retirement, has maybe worked out harder than he did as a professional football player and is down about 50-plus pounds. He looks like a completely different human being. He's not a professional football player anymore. He's not coming back. You're better off going to get Luke Jokel, and that's a joke. All right, guys.
Don't do that.
On that note.
Tom, I know you're watching.
After drill. Love you, Googans. Bye.